Who is this dapper, cleaned up gentleman? And what happened to the borderline homeless looking bum that normally graces this channel? Cappy took a shower. Date night. Yes, ladies, you two could have had this. But, reasons. I do. I clean. If there's a guy who's got some range in terms of like what he looks like in the daytime, and then if he actually tries, like, oh my God, you almost look like you could walk out in public. I got range, man. So, uh, as you know, Cappy is now it's cruise speed. We're at cruising altitude now in Cappy's point in life. We're gonna back off on the throttle. Got all the adult responsibilities done. And about the only real responsibility I got left this year is to do taxes. However, that doesn't mean there wasn't some free time freed up. And what I want to do is catch up on all the old cartoons I didn't have time to catch up on. And though it is not an old cartoon like I still have to do Samurai Jack. When I was in the Philippines for a brief 4 days, the only thing that was on when I was wide awake at 3 a.m. because of jet lag was a show called Gintama or Gintama. I don't know how it's pronounced. And I watched it, and it turns out in hindsight, it was the very first few episodes. Like, this is kind of clever. This is kind of cool. There's this vagabond, doesn't give a shit type of guy. There's the police that are after him in Edo, Japan, but the aliens have invaded. You got to watch it, at least the first couple episodes. So I'd watch that, and it was good. And like, like your friends' kids, they kind of grow on you. These little kids got this ability to just get their little freaking claws into your heart. You're like, oh, this annoying kid doing annoying things. And then the kid does something. You're like, all right, that was cute. And then the kid does another cute thing. You're like, all right, that's cute too. And then soon you're like, you're the cutest little freaking kid ever. Okay, here's some money and some ice cream and some cake. Go piss off your parents. They do. This grew on me. I didn't watch that many episodes. I think maybe I watched 8 or 9. And so I was impressed with it. I'm like, yeah, you start great character development. Like, you get involved and invested in the characters. And they're arguing and they're always fighting. This is long before Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm flying out like, well, what happens to him? So I look it up, and this thing has like 15 seasons, 15 years. It's a long run, and maybe not 15, but how many DVDs came with the set? I'm pretty sure it's 15 seasons with 3 full-length feature films in there. And so I went on the internet. I said, you know what? As a treat, I'm going to buy the whole darn thing. I'm not going to waste my time finding DVDs. And do season 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll maybe get all of it, one shot, shipped from Malaysia. I think it was $80. So that's a good deal. And so I started watching it from the beginning, of which I only missed the first 2 episodes, which is surprising given like 360 episodes, I believe. It's a long run in anime. Anyway, so I was like, oh, I'm lucky I caught it at the beginning. Skipped across the first 8 that I saw overseas. I'm watching. I'm like really getting into it. And what I loved about it was a great anime. It was a great anime. What I loved about it is there was always a good moral or lesson at the end. Being truthful, not judging people the way they look. One of the greatest episodes is the aliens have come to Earth, not necessarily invaded, but they just said hello. And there's one character looks like a demon, big horns, the scariest thing. And he's the most pacifist, nicest guy, but everyone's afraid of him. And, he's just trying to be friendly. So just really good, wholesome, moral lessons in a 25-minute show. Character development is great. Lots of colorful characters, lots of people going on, lots of different subplots. Everyone's their own unique character. Turned up to about, if 5 is normal, to turn up to 6.5, just a little enough for them to be annoying. They really shine. And then some of the writing and the stuff they did was really clever. They break the fourth wall well. The main hero, I like a lot, but I don't think they really ran with him enough. And so I'm watching, everything's going well, and I don't know what season because you just get this box from Malaysia, right? It's got a shit ton of DVDs. It's in Japanese, but I do American subtitles. It doesn't tell you what season you're in or anything like that. As best I can figure, season 3, it just starts to shit the bed. Bad. I know not all of them are gonna be stellar vignettes, right? It's in some ways, it's a lot like Cowboy Bebop. They're vignettes. They're good vignettes. Maybe they advance some kind of plot along the way. Um, but then I'm like, well, that was a stinker. All right, then they can't all be home runs. No one bats 1,000. Let's go to the next one. Well, that one's a stinker too. All right, let's go to the next one. That's okay. And then the next one, like, man, what are they doing? Like, are they just trying to save money on the budget and not like it's just a screen that shows and they're doing a lot of talking. And then they got to an arc where there's an underground town and it's got a bunch of ladies of the evening that are all owned and controlled by a bad guy. And for the most part, this is like a Seinfeld anime. It's a show about nothing. But there's some pretty cool fighting, some pretty cool character. Like, okay, this one's gonna be one of the more violent ones. An actual bad guy, some bad characters are coming on board. Okay, what's gonna happen to the gang now? And it's one of them stretched out Dragon Ball Z. If you don't know what Dragon Ball Z is, I know I'm gonna hurt my anime friends. I'm gonna hurt all my millennials, especially the minority guys. I know you guys. I know. It's just, "I will kick your ass. Haha. No, I will kick your ass. Haha. Little do you know that you will kick my ass, for I will kick your haha. I have the magic poofy poof, and you will never be able to kick me. Haha. I have the counter magic poofy." And then maybe there's 10 seconds of fighting in Dragon Ball Z per 8 episodes. You know it's true. Don't I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hurt your childhood feelings. I'm sorry. It's just true. And that happened. Things are going well. Hey, you could and what should have been the last episode of this arc, they stretched it into 3 of talking and speeches. 4, 4, 4. And now it's in the bad rut. And it got so bad, it's like you're married to this great gal, and then one day she just wakes up and she's fat and she's not cooking for you no more, and she's mean. And then you're like, well, wait, that was a quick. Nah, she must have a bad day. And no, now it's like 3 months into it, and she's still the same person. Like, nah, I gotta give up on this. I couldn't. It's unwatchable slop. Whatever they had going on first, it was great. It was great, right? You could get lost in it. Oh, it's like a group of my friends that I'd like to hang out with in this magical world, and everybody's crazy and a little bit zany, and we learn some important morals and lessons, and some good philosophy in there, even too. I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about it that way. And now you're just looking at the artists are trying every cheap trick in the book to just not draw. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll hear dialogue happening, but they're walking forward and the camera's behind them. That way they don't have to draw the mouth moving. I understand if it saves money, but what was the one? The barbershop episode was funny. That was clever. Oh, what was the one where it was just they were just chinsing on everything? Oh, what was it? It wasn't a barbershop. They were stuck somewhere. I forgot. It was bad. And it's unwatchable now. It's unwatchable. I don't know about okay, this is an anime from the early aughts to the mid aughts. I'm sure there was much tumult and chaos in the studio that developed it. Maybe some of the original writers went away. Maybe I don't know, the funding was cut and it's tragic. It was really good. The first, I guess, 2 or 3 seasons were good. And now I'm on episode What am I in? The 130s, 140s, I think. And I still have 2/3 the DVDs left to go. I'm not gonna watch it. It's not watchable. Unless some of you who are Gintama fans and you're like, "Oh, yeah, this is the you gotta skip to whatever this episode," or if you know where I am in the entire timeline of, Gintama, yeah, skip another 5 DVDs and you'll get there. But right now, oh my god. I was looking forward to it, and I was rewarded a little bit, and then I got my $60, $70 worth out of it. I got, I don't know how many hours. Let's say I got 40 hours into it. It was pretty rewarding, pretty interesting. But now it's just junk. It's horrible. And I've never kind of like when imagine this, but going the opposite direction, right? Which will happen tomorrow because I'll be in my dregs and I'll look like a homeless bum again. That's how bad Gintama dropped from this to what you normally make me what I look like in the regular times when I'm not on a date. It just I've never seen such a drop in quality. Maybe the no, the boys, their drop in quality don't even come close to this. I'm trying to think of something that started out so good and ended up just unwatchable, and that's really what it is, just not watchable. So there you go. We got any super chats tonight? We got 2. Late night Cappy. My truth, the king. $2. It's past your bedtime, and we wore an onion on our belt. You might, D. Cartoons were good. Burbshide, 2 Australian. Wish Castlevania and Witcher anime were still good. I didn't mind the first Castlevania. You have to skip over the mandated lesbian thing. It was tragic. You had more or less a perfect show. And by the way, there's 2 Castlevania series. The first one I'm talking about. The second one, I guess, is just woke slop, and I'm not going to bother with it. That first Castlevania was pretty good, minus the mandatory forced lesbian thing. And that was about it. That was a very if borderline perfect show, but you had to go ruin it with politics. And I don't want the Witcher anime. I'm not even going to bother. Was it made in the past 4 years? I don't want to see it. If it was made in the past 4 years, I don't want to see it. And I'm not looking forward to Witcher 4, and I'm not going to play it unless, which will happen. People are going to review it. They're going to tell me if CD Projekt Red, that's the programmers of the game, went woke. It's very likely they did. None of the original people from the Witcher 3 are working on Witcher 4. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 out of 1,000 people working on it, but all the creative genius is gone. It's absolutely gone. Unkono, $2. What about great teacher Onizuka GTO? I don't know. Is that one I should consider? I'll be honest about anime. Most of it's garbage. So unless it comes highly rated, and it's got to be highly rated. Because I've had a bunch of you guys come in, oh, you watch this? And I go, oh, okay, I trust my audience. I shouldn't have trusted my audience. I'm watching it's bad. And admittedly, I have very high standards for anything I watch. Because it's a time commitment. I could be doing something else productive. And a lot of the anime is just what was it? The Notebook or Kill Book or Death Note. Death Note. That was good. And it just kept going on and on and on and on and on. All right, okay. I've said it a million times before, although now more modernly, not so much. I was gonna say you need Japanese artists, Japanese settings, even the Japanese plot, but you need American directors to just cut that down. And American music. I think that, but not anymore. I said that 10 years ago. Now the American, it's just no. I'll watch 1,000 high school animes before I watch anything coming out of Disney or anything coming out of Hollywood modernly. So there you guys go. I guess watch the first 120 episodes of Gintama and then call it a night. And they're like, that's it. We're done. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.